Hey, what's up, everyone? Hope you're doing good because this update for My Hero Ultra Rumble is a pretty meaty one, and there's a lot to unpack here without rushing through it. First off, the new hero is obviously the biggest conversation starter, and Volt Strike brings a completely different rhythm to fights. This character isn't just about raw damage or tanking hits, it's more about control, timing, and forcing enemies to react to you. The mobility is noticeable right away, and the electric-based abilities make fights feel a lot more chaotic in a good way. Chain Surge in particular changes how team fights flow, because suddenly enemies can't just stack up or blindly chase without risking getting stunned and punished. It's one of those kits where you can already tell skilled players are going to do some scary things once they fully master the spacing and cooldown management. The new map also plays a huge role in how this update feels. Skyline District leans heavily into vertical movement, and it rewards players who are comfortable moving up and down quickly instead of just fighting on flat ground. The moving platforms and destructible cover add this constant sense of adjustment where you can't just camp one strong position forever. The power conduit hazard is especially interesting because it forces you to think twice about your pathing mid-fight. Getting stunned at the wrong moment can completely flip a fight, so positioning matters even more now, especially during late game circles. On the system side, matchmaking improvements are honestly a relief. Solo players should notice that matches feel a bit fairer, especially when it comes to running into full pre-made squads over and over again. Queue times being smoothed out during slower hours is another small change that adds up over time, because fewer long waits means more actual play and less staring at menus. Party features also feel more polished now, with things like ready-up options and better friend list filters making it easier to jump into games without unnecessary friction. Ranked players also get some clarity with this update. Seeing clear indicators for rank decay and progress helps reduce that anxiety of logging in and wondering what happened to your rank. It doesn't change the competitive pressure, but it does make the system feel more transparent, which is always a good thing. Balance changes are where things get interesting, because you can tell the developers were aiming to smooth out extremes instead of completely gutting characters. Deku getting a damage reduction on Smash Charge while improving recovery consistency feels like a fair trade. Bakugo's explosion range and cooldown tweaks should slightly reduce how oppressive he feels in crowded fights without killing his aggressive identity. Todoroki sees a bit of a split adjustment, with stronger defensive utility on Ice Wall but toned down fire damage so he's not deleting people from afar as easily. Uraraka's changes feel targeted at reducing frustration, especially around float duration, while making her grab more reliable when you're actually trying to land it. All Might's adjustments slow him down just enough to give opponents more breathing room, especially during repeated slam engagements. Volt Strike's numbers staying mostly stable tells me that the developers want more data before making any big calls, which is probably the smart move for a brand new hero. Bug fixes and performance improvements might not sound exciting, but they matter a lot here. Fewer crashes during spectating, cleaner audio behavior in hectic fights, and fixing platform clipping issues all contribute to matches feeling smoother and more reliable. The exploit fixes are especially important because anything that lets players bypass core mechanics like stuns can completely ruin competitive integrity. On the technical side, server and client optimizations should help reduce those annoying moments where everything feels slightly out of sync, particularly in bigger fights with lots of effects on screen. Accessibility and UI changes also deserve some appreciation. Colorblind-friendly options, better HUD customization, and cleaner post-match screens all make the game easier to read and less overwhelming, especially during long sessions. These are the kinds of updates that don't get flashy trailers, but make a real difference for a lot of players. Overall, this update feels like a strong step toward a more balanced and polished experience. New content brings excitement, but the real win here is how many small but meaningful improvements were made across the board. Whether you're testing out Volt Strike, learning the flow of Skyline District, or just enjoying smoother matches, there's a sense that the game is steadily being refined in the right direction.